All right, welcome to episode 53. This will be the Pumpkinhead ranking episode, and I will review Beetlejuice Beetlejuice and Hellhole, recently released on Shudder. And so, as for any horror news, Wolf Creek 3 is finally done filming. It is going to be directed by someone else. The guy who directed the first two is not coming back to direct this one, but the main actor who plays Mick Taylor, the antagonist of the series, is back. John Jarrett, the Australian actor, he is coming back to play Mick Taylor once again, and it's called Wolf Creek Legacy, I believe. Lost Legacy or Legacy something. Legacy. So they're not going with three. They don't like numbers anymore, so we're coming up with subtitles. Legacy. Franchises always seem to do that. When they get to three or four, they get scared of numbers. Like that, people aren't gonna watch it if it has three or four in the title. And Damien Leone, when he was talking to the studios, they didn't want Terrifier 3 to be called Terrifier 3. So that proves my point. They don't like numbers. I don't get it. Why? Does that somehow drive your box office down? I don't know. But yeah, seems to be a thing now. People are scared of numbers. So yeah, Wolf Creek 3 is called Legacy or whatever. And that's coming out next year, hopefully. So I reviewed the first two Wolf Creek movies, and so if you want to hear my thoughts, check out those reviews. Spoiler, I like them. So yeah, that's it for horror news. Let's just get into the main attraction, the Pumpkinhead ranking. Let's do that first because I already got it pulled up. I'll talk about Beetlejuice later. So let's talk about switch over here. Let's talk about Pumpkinhead. Some of you don't know this, but yeah, there's four of these. The third and fourth one were like straight to Sci-Fi Channel horseshit. They're horrible. They're horrible movies. So here's my number four right here. It's been on screen. Ashes to Ashes. Pumpkinhead 3? Yeah, see? 3 and 4. They don't want to call them 3 and 4. They dropped the fucking number. So I believe, yeah, this one's part 3, Ashes to Ashes. I'm not even going to waste your time with a synopsis. You don't need to know. It's about Pumpkinhead. It's got this, they all basically have the same plot as the first one. They just kind of change the year on some of these. I think this is the one that, or I think the fourth one goes back in time or something. I don't know. Feels more this one, and I watched these not in preparation for this ranking. I watched these like a year ago or back in January of this year. I don't know. But I have notes written down, thank God. Otherwise, I'd have nothing to say. So I'm just gonna read my notes from when I did watch this shit. So these came out. The third and fourth one, they came out in 2006 and 7, straight to like Sci-Fi Channel. They did not get a theatrical. I don't think the second one got one either. That was like 1994. So I think that was straight to VHS. So yeah, this one feels more like a continuation of the first than part two. By bringing back Henriksen, main actor, protagonist from the first movie. But unfortunately, he's poorly utilized as a specter. He's a ghost. He's haunting Bunt. His name's Bunt, or is that a typo? The acting is awful. Wooden as hell. The dialogue is atrocious. Uses CGI now for the pumpkin. We went from Stan Winston practical effects for the original that looked amazing to let's just use CGI for Pumpkinhead. Yeah, but they use it for some shots. It's not some close-ups here and there. It looks like a guy in a rubber suit or whatever. But there are some CGI Pumpkinhead shots when they have him like going up a building or whatever, and it looks awful. It's an insult. He uses his tail a lot more now to hit people, and he's choking people out like he's Frankenstein or the Mummy in the Universal films. The lights and fog the lights and fog accompanying him from previous films is now missing. Okay, so I guess in the past, whenever Pumpkinhead popped up, there was always a lot of lights flickering or lightning and fog. That's gone now. Doug Bradley is in this, so there's red flag. Doug Bradley is the only professional actor in this who seems like he is trying. Just like in Wrong Turn 5, he was the only actor in that movie trying. The meth girl doesn't look like one. She doesn't look like a girl on meth. The plot is been here, done that. No kill is good. Not a single good kill at all. The made for TV quality is obvious. The southern accents were annoying and fake as hell. How super convenient it was that Blondie booked a hotel next to the meth dealer Doug was visiting. Sounds super convenient, man. The only good thing was Pumpkinhead's design was consistent, and the practical effects of him, while not as great as Stan Winston's, were okay. A table full of lament configurations can be seen. So the puzzle box from Hellraiser, the lament configuration, there's a table that's full of them that can be seen in one scene, which was funny to see. So a little meta, self-aware joke for fans who know who Doug Bradley is. He played Pinhead in Hellraiser, in case you didn't know. All right, so next up, number 3 is Pumpkinhead 4. This poster says 4, but if you look up the movie, it doesn't say 4. Letterboxd doesn't say 4. So it's Pumpkinhead Blood Feud. Another sci-fi made-for-TV sequel that regurgitates the same plot mixed with Romeo and Juliet in an embarrassing and contrived way. It feels like a period piece at times, but it's also modern day. I guess, I don't know. I was confused by that. Like, it's Romeo and Juliet, and it's modern day, but it seems like a period piece, like based on the setting and everything. I don't know. These two families that go by the same names as the ones in Romeo and Juliet are the only ones taking residence in the town. So just this whole town is two families. That's it. Is that even a thing in modern day? Is that possible? Um, and there's one cop who is also the sheriff, and I don't know if he belongs to either family. He's survived an encounter with Pumpkinhead in the open and had 5 years to move away, but chose not to. Lance is back yet again. Lance Henriksen. More like shoehorned. He's shoehorned as a ghost warning people not to make the same mistakes he did. The one thing this movie does right is give Pumpkinhead better kills, and it's more gory than any other film in the series. The look is identical to 3 on Pumpkinhead, I'm referring to. And wouldn't be shocked if it was the same prop reused, seeing as how they shot these back to back. So I'm sure that's why the look was so consistent from 3 to 4. They just had the same mechanical Pumpkinhead prop that they just kept around. And the sound effects are laughable, like tires skidding on dirt roads. The CGI fire was horrible. The lighting, lighting, not lightning. The lighting effects when Pumpkinhead was around were dreadful. It was so obvious they were using a strobe light, and you can even see one of them in one shot. I swear. I swear you do. Pumpkinhead sounds like a lion now. Oh, that's nice. Ricky thinks that by killing the family of the love of his life will somehow bring them closer together. Because that's what every girlfriend wants you to do. Your family doesn't like me? Well, how about I just murder them? Then we can be together. How's that sound? Not if she knows you did it. Like, yeah, he's gonna kill them and tell her that he did. I mean, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's gonna make her love you. The acting is mostly terrible yet again, but at least the accents weren't so distracting. A dirt bike explodes after tipping over during a crash into a fallen tree. So that was kind of ridiculous, right? It just, tips over and explodes? Okay. A dirt bike. I already read that. The sheriff has a look of surprise when he shoots Pumpkinhead in the face, even though he would know better than anyone that doesn't work. Jodie was the only actress with talent. The woman they kept calling just a child looked almost 40. But they gave her pigtails, I guess, to make her seem more childish. Uh, their 70 plus year feud is over one family owing the other a 1930s car that paralyzed their relative. Okay, so dumb. Very fucking dumb. See, don't watch these movies. I forgot all about this shit I'm reading, and it's just reminded me of how stupid this film was. So, yeah, number 3 is Pumpkinhead 4. Number 2, Pumpkinhead 2. An okay sequel only because of the K&B effects, cameos by Linnea Quigley and Kane Hodder, and Andrew Robinson as the lead sheriff. Uh, Another Hellraiser connection. Andrew Robinson was one of the leads in that. Who isn't uh, He's the lead sheriff who isn't a very good sheriff or a father. The acting is really bad. Seems to be a theme here. And the gang of friends are super thin characters. I don't see why Jenny likes the judge's son, so much. She even dreams about making out in bed in the woods with him. There's a dream within a dream. The rules are changed for Pumpkinhead, but the revenge is still a major part of Pumpkinhead's mythology. How he is summoned is different, though. Every shot of him is accompanied with strobe lights and electrical noises. It has a big body count. People get dismembered and their heads pulled off. Turns out Pumpkinhead had a disfigured son named Tommy. The opening, the opening is shot in black and white because it's 1958. So this movie pulls the Night of the Creeps, and it wants to be. Oh yeah, I even wrote. Oh, wow, I didn't even finish reading that sentence, and it wants to be Night of the Creeps. So that's funny. Jeff Burr is the director of this, and recently passed away earlier this year. Actually, he directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, one of the Puppet Master movies, and this one, of course. He loves using Dutch angles. And everything with the witch I didn't care for, her voice, her dialogue, and even most of the other characters' dialogue. And I quoted this: "A little danger never harmed anyone." I thought that was a stupid line. "Little danger never harmed anyone." That's, of course, if something's dangerous, it could harm you, right? So take a shot every time Danny asks Jenny, "You didn't tell your dad about you didn't tell your dad anything, did you?" He just keeps asking her that throughout the whole movie. Like, "You didn't tell your dad, right? Did you? I swear." Oh, what are you gonna do? Hit her? It's just a bunch of unlikable characters in this movie, and some very paper thin characters, but it's never boring. It looks a bit similar to the original, but it needed a stronger script and cast. I appreciate the cameos, but the main characters, besides Andrew Robinson, they need to be better actors. So number 1 though is obviously the original. Is clearly the best. Stan Winston effects, Stan Winston direction. Lance Henriksen in the lead, and the atmosphere, the look of the movie, the feel. It's a great movie to watch in October. Just because of how it looks. I don't think it's set in October, but it kind of has that look and feel. And especially when they go to the pumpkin patch, you got all the pumpkins lying around when he goes to summon Pumpkinhead. And yeah, I just really love the look of this movie mostly. And I love revenge tales. And this whole franchise is about revenge. And this movie, it does it the best of the 4. So check it out. I think I did a review of this movie already. If not, I talked about it in my top 10 of 1988 ranking. It definitely was somewhere in the top 10. I can't remember where, but so yeah, number 1, Pumpkinhead. No surprise. I'm sure you all saw that coming. So that's the end of the ranking. Now let's get into the movie reviews. With start with Beetlejuice, I guess, maybe, or Hellhole. I don't know. I gotta pull up my notes though, so bear with me while I look for that. All right, so Hellhole. This was released on Shudder. Yeah, Shudder original. This is by the Addams family. They've directed quite a few low budget. They're indie filmmakers, and it seems like they shoot all their movies in the same area. And I've never been a fan of any of their movies. So, and this is what, 4 for 4. Was not a fan of this one either. I'm still looking for my notes. Sorry. But yeah, it's Hellhole. This movie. There we go. Another disappointing Addams Family movie, and perhaps their worst one yet. It's a monster movie with an anti-fracking message behind it, and one note annoying characters. Yeah, I would argue, hands down, the most annoying character of 2024. I forget his name, but we'll just call him Dipshit for now. And Dipshit has the weirdest smile, and all he does is spout exposition and repeat his objections. No, don't kill it. But the first thing he says when it's attacking him at the end is kill it, because he's a hypocrite, like all these people who are anti this, anti that. The people who go out protesting, they protest about something that they use in their daily lives. They're assholes. And then the main character who works this fracking site says at one point in the movie, "I was a Bernie Sanders supporter." How does that work? So the CG back, it was clearly meant to be a joke because it'd be whatever. I'm not gonna get into the politics. CGI was awful, and the hard rock music was distracting, overused, and they seem to do that in a lot of their movies. Is use that hard rock, electric guitar solos during scene transitions, and I just don't like it. The movie is like edited to the rhythm of the music, so it feels like you're watching a music video at times. Most of the movie is two characters explaining the creature and two other characters asking questions constantly so we can get more exposition or to simplify what was already said. You know, they spend like 5 minutes on something explaining shit, and then the other two characters would be like, "So what you're saying is this?" And they'd be like, "Yes." And it's like, God damn, can we just get to some action? Like, get to the horror of the story? Let's stop talking about it and get to it. Why is everyone packing heat at this fracking site in Siberia? I guess everyone in Siberia is like legally required to carry a gun on them, or I don't know, like, is it a very dangerous place? Everyone is packing heat. Every single one of those workers carry their own shotgun or pistol, and like they already had it before the monster came around. Why the movie ends so abruptly, very abruptly, and sort of ambiguous. The dialogue is super cringy, and the acting is not good. It's trying to be witty, but fails miserably. There's no tension, no scares, no humor that lands to carry you through this mess. So, with that being said, let's just get to my rating, and that is 2. Don't like it. Alright, so next movie is Beetlejuice. Not Beetlejuice 2, but I like this title. It's kind of clever. If they make a third one, they can call it Beetlejuice. Now, this is a movie that is decades in the making. People have been waiting, not me, but other people have been waiting for this movie since 1988. And this movie has been announced that it's coming out again and again. There's been reports of it from like the early 2000s. It was talked about. Like, it's been talked about for a long time. But I didn't start hearing about it personally until the last year or two. So I haven't been waiting that long for it. I've only been waiting a year for it. And the original, I've only seen a couple of times in my life. I caught scenes of it on TV from time to time growing up. So I was never a huge fan of it. Didn't care to check it out as a kid. But then I watched it in full, probably for the first time 4 years ago. Then I bought it a couple years ago at the Dawn of the Dead Mall, actually, and watched it again, and I really liked it. I think the first one's great. I really like the style and aesthetic of the film. It's wacky, it's original. And this movie tries to continue all that stuff, but what does it do it anywhere near as good as the original? No, not in my opinion. This movie to me, it's just overstuffed. The plot, it has so much going on. There's too many different storylines and characters to focus on. I thought the original did it much better. You just focus on 2 sets of characters, not like 4 in this one. You just got the people haunting this family, trying to get them out of the house. Simple enough. This one has quite a few different things happening. You got a storyline with Beetlejuice's ex-wife stapling herself back together, and that's like a 3-minute sequence. It's like, come on, trim it down. Um, and they set her up to be like the main bad foe. She's going to fuck shit up when she finally catches. I mean, she's looking for Beetlejuice, and you see you're just waiting for that moment to happen. And when it gets there, and she finally gets to Beetlejuice, what happens? Nothing that's going to satisfy you. I'll just say that. And so yeah, you got that storyline, and then you got Beetlejuice and Winona Ryder, their storyline, and then you got Jenna Ortega and her love interest, that whole storyline, and the twists and turns in that story that I saw coming a mile away, and the mother, and with what's what's his name? I forget his name, but the douchebag, the one douche who's like marrying into the family, and the whole show angle. Like, there's just so many different things going on, and they're planning a wedding, and then she's also, Beetlejuice is planning his wedding, and like it's just too much. Like, I feel like there's like 3 different movies in this movie that you could have made a lot more. Like, some of this shit could have been saved for the third movie, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. But there's many callbacks and wacky set designs, cool practical effects. But the main saving grace of this movie to me was the long. The main saving grace of this very long-awaited sequel is Michael Keaton's his performance. I thought he was great, very consistent. It felt like he didn't miss a beat. Like, he just got right back into it. Like, they just filmed this right after like, he didn't lose touch with this character. Like, he is still very much Beetlejuice. He very much is the best part of this movie. Like, he just, I can't stress it enough. Like, every scene with him I liked for the most part, but some of the humor, unfortunately, was painful. There was a lot of painful humor, dialogue, musical moments that just I cannot stand. I can't stand musicals in general. Like, just that. And I get that they did that in the first one, so they do it again in this one to call back to that sequence when they're all singing and dancing around the dinner table. They do that again in this movie, same song. Get that it's a callback, but I still don't like it. Yeah, but they do a lot more singing and dancing in this one. It's so cringy. I don't like it. They attempt a twist that I saw coming from far away. And I liked the movie aesthetically, and Danny Elfman's score was great. And the characters are all, pretty much every single one of them, just all over the top. I do feel that I do feel that this movie pushed the PG-13 rating with the violence and the gore. Like, there's one character walking around with half his body missing and blood's like squirting out. It's pretty gruesome looking. And it's PG-13, so I feel like they pushed it as much as they could without going R. And they they make Beetlejuice's ex-wife to be like super powerful, a force to be reckoned with, and then when she finally catches up and finds Beetlejuice to get revenge, boy, is it a lackluster climax. This was very disappointing. Like, she's going around the whole movie literally sucking the life out of people, and then you get that at the end. That's their confrontation. That's it. That was just so disappointing. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I don't want to go too much into detail and spoil too much. So I'll just give this movie a 3 out of 5. Kind of liked it, but man, disappointing. This was not anywhere near as great as the first one, but nor was I expecting it. Honestly wasn't going into this with high expectations. Because like I said, I wasn't waiting 20, 30, 40 years for this like a lot of other people. So, but I still was kind of expecting it to be a little better than it was, but it didn't match even my low or just middle expectations. It wasn't high expectations, but it didn't even meet my whatever expectations. It was just like, but not a bad movie. But yeah, just don't expect it to be the first one all over again. So is that the end of it? Yeah, that's it. What are your thoughts? Did you like Beetlejuice 2? Did you like it as much as the first one? More? I'd be curious to hear how many people actually like it more. Doesn't seem like many people do, judging by the ratings I've been looking at. But yeah, what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Have any of you even seen the Pumpkinhead franchise? I doubt many of you have, so, but don't watch them. Just watch the first one, skip the rest. That's my recommendation. So, but yeah, thank you so much for joining me tonight, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios!